Yeah,
But
I'm in Seattle now.
you were how long have you been out gone from Kentucky? Wait,
After 2018, I think I moved in, yeah, December 2018, I think.
how come? Just are you with Liv out in Washington?
Yeah, so Toby took a job at the University of Washington, so
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay,
yeah.
so he left when everybody else left at Kentucky, like with Flo.
Yeah, so it was basically between Texas and Washington where we'd go. Because like the ADs at Kentucky didn't even talk to Toby about staying.
Why? They just want everybody gone,
I don't know. I think because he had a year of his contract, I think they just figured he'd
just to get
stay.
them out. Yeah. Huh. It's interesting how they completely cleaned house the program there. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the the new coach that came in, he got rid of Nino because he had his own throws coach, um,
Where'd he come from? He
and
came
then
from
he
Purdue, right?
didn't keep Rondell. Yeah.
Didn't he? He came from Purdue.
What?
He came from Purdue, didn't he? The coach?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, he
crazy.
came from Purdue. He brought Tim Hall and his throws coach from Purdue. So
Dang. Crazy, man. Yeah. Well, the past couple of years have been like roller coaster. Like after I left school, went and worked at a marketing agency and had which was nice. You know, had some income, and but I also had paid unlimited paid time off. And I was running actually when I left school, dude. I was still running with a team in the Twin Cities.
really,
Um, they were like a semi-pro team, but they were mainly distance, like marathon. But
okay.
after about a year of that, I was like, dude, this is just so stressful. Like I just had so much going on. So I
Yeah,
left, and
my brother
then
lives in Minnesota right
what?
now again. My brother lives in Minnesota right now.
Seriously, what's he doing up here? He's quarantined up here, man. He's stuck.
Uh, yeah, yeah, he's not happy about that, but yeah, because I mean, my parents used to live up there for a little bit as well.
Oh, I didn't know that. What part?
Twin City area, in the
Oh, okay.
St. Paul area.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
nice. But yeah. Oh, dude, another cool thing. I don't know if I told you this, but like, so I mean, with the company I started, it's the idea is to build a universal gym membership. So one of the ways I've been getting them on board is going gym to gym and working out with these different gym owners. And I've gotten in pretty good shape. And so I applied to this thing called the Next Olympic Hopeful. I'm not sure if you've heard of it,
No.
but I got in, and it's for the sport of biathlon. So like, I mean, it's like an endurance sport. So I don't
Skinny
know.
dude.
Maybe I'll have a comeback career in biathlon.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. I do enjoy watching that.
Seriously, you enjoy it? It's like a European sport.
Yeah, the winter one, the skiing, cross country, and shooting, right?
Yeah, 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 that one.
Yeah, that's
Can you
pretty
imagine me
cool.
out there, dude, with that gun? I'd be like in the back course, like like if I'm losing, I'll pull like what was that movie called? The Dictator. You know where he has the gun and he like shoots the
Yeah,
people.
oh, I
What?
should beta blockers for you. That's
Yeah.
actually pretty cool.
What?
What's it like? What's it do? Does it
What does
just
what
like
do?
allow you to
The next
the
level.
next Olympic hopeful thing?
Oh, it's like so like I put in some of like my different times and like what I can weight lift and whatnot, and then it's like a training camp, like a 3 day training camp out in Lake Placid, but it's postponed due to all this stuff. And I think there's like 50 people, and then they take
Yeah,
five for the for like further training and whatnot. So
that'd be cool.
yeah, so we'll see. But dude, this is about you. I wonder where my buddy Kevin is. I'm not sure if he's coming in. Um, but we can just get started. So, dude, so the whole idea behind this, I was thinking, is because like fitness has played such a big part in my life, was to bring some of the athletes that I've known and just like chat about how fitness has changed your life with you. Because you're obviously like super successful. You were super successful at Kentucky, and like now you're super successful as a professional athlete. But not many people are like talk about the early days and like how that kind of shaped and molded them.
Okay.
So yeah, I just wanted to be like super free flowing and just like a casual conversation, like we're catching up, right? Because I actually haven't seen you in forever, and I miss you, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I'm curious, like what was like your first? Because you do decathlon, which is kind of like it's a super intense sport. And for those who don't know, it's you basically you do 10 events. So when did you first like get started in the athletic field and or like in the sport, and how did that all like come about?
Yeah, that was an interesting one because with my parents, my dad's job, he's a mining engineer. We moved around a lot, and one of them was in Indonesia. So
You lived in
when we were
Indonesia.
there, we yeah,
Oh, I did
yeah,
not know that.
up a mountain at a mine site. And while we were there, one of the PE teachers we had, we had like this track unit kind of thing. So like they had high jump, and I always thought I was doing the scissor what everybody else was doing. No, I was going over on my back. So I've never been able to do that form. So I guess he told my parents when we come back to the states to kind of uh, get into track. So that's what we did. We went to a track team when we were in California, and then started off, with the normal sprinting, long jump, high jump, as every kid wants to do.
Yeah.
And then the teacher told, like the coach there, he was like, "Do you want to do multi events?" And then it was pentathlon, so just 5 events. He's like, "All you got to do is shot put." I still want to say they forgot to leave out the 1500 when they told me this. But yeah, that's kind of how it started, and then that's how it progressed. And then when I was in Arizona, a guy like my coach there, Um, he was a big role in keeping me going with multi events, getting me in touch with the pole vault coach and this and that. So,
How old were you when you first got started? I don't know if you said that. Did I miss that?
when we came back to the States, I think it was fifth grade.
Wow. So you started decathlon that young,
Yeah, we
or
started with
multi sport?
pentathlon there and then started Dex in high school.
Oh, it started Dex in high school. That's crazy. And like, dude, the part that like blows my mind the most is like even at that age, being able to do multi events is like pretty insane. Like explain like what a typical multi event is like now. Like what are the 10 events you do? And like you don't just do these 10 events like average. Like you do the 10 events like you could place in each event individually. Like yeah.
Yeah, so now um, day one is the 100, then we go to long jump, shot put, high jump, 400, take a nice little break.
That's one day. So like, dude, for the average person, that is just like stupid. So like, what would be like an average 100-meter time for you for your
The last couple years, it's been about 10.5, 10.5
10
high, 6 low.
5? So like a good high school time would be under 10, right? Like, and so and a good college time would be maybe low 10. So you're like a very very high level of college or you know what I mean, like a professional level just in that one event, which is
Yeah, it was
pretty
to
insane.
the point where like, my senior year, I was on the 4x1.
Yeah, seriously,
Yeah,
that's
and
insane.
that was fun. They didn't trust me with the handoffs. So, I mean, it makes sense. I wouldn't trust myself with a handoff either.
Yeah.
All I had to do was get the baton and run.
Oh, dude, just a sec. I have an issue with the live stream. Uh, let's see.
Code technology.
Technology issues, man. But keep talking. So you do what was the first day? The 100, the
100 to long jump, shot put.
okay, and your long jump is super impressive. Can you
Yeah,
explain? 'Cause I think
80.
that's one of your best events, isn't it?
Yeah, that's probably my best event. Jumped 803 or 804 without wind, and then like a 2.1 wind, so like very slightly wind aided in 819.
Dude, that is bananas. 819. So what is that? What is that in feet? 2 point
That's
something. That's
almost about to figure out.
what is you about to figure out?
Yeah, about 26 feet 8 inches ish.
Dude, 26 feet. That is fucking bananas. So this is so like keep in mind this is all one day. So you have the 100 meter, the long jump, and then you have the shot put, right? Shot put after that.
Yeah, shot put.
And what is like a good throw in the shot put?
Depends on the person. Like mine is like 13 mid. You really want to be in that like closer to 14 mid range, especially now with the people I'm competing against. So like I'm competing against all the Germans and well, Germans are just a different breed when it comes to throwing. Like they're in that like 15-meter range and that.
Yeah. Damn. That's bananas.
It's slowly getting
What?
it's slowly getting there. We're in
Well,
training for just some like giggles. We always put out sometimes like a 22-meter mark just
yeah.
just for fun to see like you stand in the ring, you're like, how do these throwers throw that thing that far?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Mhm. So, yeah. Is your wait, yours so yours is lighter then? Is your the shot that you throw lighter than what the throwers
Yeah,
throw?
the shop. That's why.
Oh, but they
That's
throw it
why
that
we
much
just.
farther. They throw it that much farther.
Yeah,
Dude, that's crazy. That's crazy. So you have the shot put, then you have the 400? Or is that
I
or that's the
jump
last
next.
high jump? Shit. Dude, you're
I
also
jump.
world was is high jump your second best one, would you say?
Yeah, probably. It's where I make up quite a few points just with how the point totals work and how people jump. Yeah, it's up there with one of. It's my favorite event. That's for
It
sure.
is. 'Cause I remember at Kentucky, like you would be the high jumpers we had on the team, like just in that event, right? Which is like insane. Like I remember,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, but what was his name? Jump X was his Instagram. I can't remember.
Oh yeah, X. Man, that dude was
Yeah,
funny. I loved X.
he was super funny. Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's pretty crazy. And then you end the 400. What was like your 400-meter time, or how did that event stack in with your decathlon?
Yeah, PB right now I think is 48.7.
Yeah,
So it's decent.
yeah, and then
Not gaining ground, not losing ground. Right
yeah,
where it needs to be kind of thing.
dude, that is so bananas. So that's just like one day of working out. And so like how do all those point systems work then? Like so like how does that point system work and like how like what's the best way to go about getting the most points, right? Like because you
Yeah.
could be a good thrower, you could be a good but like how do you find the right balance, right?
I mean, I think it's done off an algorithm, off of like a world record at a certain point. I don't think really anybody knows exactly how the point total is done.
Nobody knows.
Um,
It's like a credit score.
yeah,
Just kidding.
one of the things where if you ask somebody, they're like, it's done off an algorithm for something. They don't exactly know for sure. Um,
Huh. Interesting.
but yeah, it's kind of the people that have been most successful um, tend to be more speed and jumping based. Um, so, like if you look at Ashton Eaton, he was speed and jumping.
Yeah.
His throws weren't there until the end of his career. Um, so, like the majority of the people that are just starting out decathlons tend to be more jumping and speed based, and then you kind of incorporate everything else into it. So, if you have a lot of speed, you can jump pretty. You can you can long jump pretty well, kind of off the bat. They go hand in hand, and then you build up your other events kind of around that. I was more jumping with slight speed,
Hmm.
uh, and then we developed it up. Like I didn't make my speed jump until I got into college.
Your speed. Oh, like your speed increased. Like your speed didn't increase a bunch until you got to college.
Yeah,
Interesting.
like I think I ran like maybe 11.2 in high school,
Hmm.
and then 2 3 years later dropped it to 10.5, 10.4.
That is fast. That is so fast.
Yeah,
Damn.
that's when I made that drop, and then
Hmm.
now building up the throws to match the jumps.
And so, how do you do that without losing the speed? Because I feel like it's like a tough trade off, right? Like,
Yeah, it's a give and take. Like I run 10.4, 10.5. There's not a huge amount of point difference between those two. So
yeah,
maybe you give up a tenth of a second there and increase 2 to 3 throws and you'll gain more points. It's kind of that kind of thing.
interesting. But you don't necessarily understand exactly how the points work, right? So like, or maybe do like
Yeah,
from like
yeah, it's kind of one of those ones where you've been around it so long, you know how they work.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah,
So it's like I know roughly where certain things are. Like I
Hmm.
know at 15, it's like every second's about 7 points, stuff like that.
Oh,
Um,
dang.
a bar, like a certain bar in high jumps, worth 30 points more than the bar below it, and then it kind of gets more and more as you get higher. Stuff like that. So that kind of stuff, but it's like if you're just talking to somebody, they're kind of hard to explain. So the best way I always say it is it's done off an algorithm kind of thing, off a
Yeah.
record, because it doesn't matter where you place, it just matters about how high you're going, how far you're jumping, kind of stuff.
Interesting. Huh. So does it change per event then, or is it just like every time there's a new record, it kind of like adjusts? Like, or like for example, if you were
No,
at
so
the
it
oh, I was gonna say if you were at the Olympics versus World Championships, would the point system be different or no?
point system stays the same always.
Oh, okay.
They they've set it off of one thing, so that's where it's done off of. So, jumping and sprinting events tend to get more points than the throwing events, just because in terms of where you would be to the mark they set it at. Um, like say they set it like the world record around that time that they set it at was 21 meters. You're gonna we're not gonna be close to 21 meters. As for say the 100 at that point was like 9.9. We're closer to that than we are to 27, like to 21 meters. That's kind of how it's based off of
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
my understanding.
And this is coming from a very seasoned guy.
That is
Yeah.
my understanding. But then again, I also don't look too much into it. I just know points give me this. You know, sometimes you just don't care how it comes about. You just know where you're going to be.
Dude, that's
I get
awesome.
in on an online calculator and I figure it out from there.
Dude, that's crazy. So that's day one. What
Yep.
about day two? What does day two look like? How do you feel going into day two? Like, so you finish day one. What is it like going into day two? Are you like super exhausted, or are you like hyped, or do maybe just depend on the event? Like,
It's kind of both. So depending on the event you're in, kind of depends
mhm,
on how much rest you have between day one and day two. Um, so like in college and stuff, and like high school and all that, you'll get full night's sleep and everything like that. So you're pretty well rested, like you're tired. But when I've now started doing bigger competitions like Europeans and stuff like that, at 2018 Europeans, we started day one at I think 10. We ended it at 10.
oh my
So
god,
we ran the 400 at 10. 'Cause
12 hours.
you have a break between shot put and high jump. You have like a 5 or 6 hour break.
Yeah.
So then because the way that those ones work is you have a morning and an evening session. It's the same
Mhm.
thing with the Olympics and most world championships. So we ended the day at 10 at night. So by the time you pack up your stuff and you get back to the hotel, it's like 11:30 because you cool down and everything. Then
Mm.
you get your treatment and you eat. I think I went to bed at 1:30, almost 2
Oh my,
a.m.
because of all the treatments and stuff you had to go
And
through, like
then
recovery stuff.
yeah, yeah, all the recovery stuff, eating, massages, ice baths, shower before you get into bed.
Yeah.
And then we wake up to breakfast the next morning at like 7.
Damn. Yeah, 6 hours.
Um, yeah, but then like I woke up even earlier than that, as you do.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah,
it's
yeah.
just it was horrible. Both Toby and I looked like absolute death that morning. But then the first event on day two's hurdles, which is fun. So then you go hurdles, discus, pole vault, javelin, 1500 for day two.
And what's your favorite day to do? Because I know you kick ass at the hurdles as well as javelin, but I feel like your kryptonite is 1500.
Hey, it's getting better.
Is it?
It's
It is. I didn't see. Well, I didn't see your last one or your most recent
yeah.
one. Your
And, last year I ran. 2:49 for the K.
Nice.
So, and then I think I ran really like 1:1500 last year, and I didn't want to run it. That was my mindset, as I just did not want to. The meet was going so bad. I just like I was done with the meet.
Mhm.
Didn't want to step on the line and stuff, and ran 4:57, which was another second PR.
Yeah.
But now like the two to three guys I'm training with now, they're all like 4:20 and below guys. So then there's just me just holding on to the back
Just
and
hanging
just
on.
running with them in practice. So it's getting there.
Yeah. But so and how's the hurdles and pole vault? Because your girlfriend, Liv, she's a beast of a pole vaulter. Has she helped you at all with it? Or
Yeah,
more
it's a nice ongoing joke that she holds higher and takes off further out than me. It's not a joke. She actually does both of those things. Um,
Is that like a diss in the pole vault world?
yeah, yeah, because I'm on a bigger pole, like a longer pole, but somehow she's still holding higher than me. How far you take off. It's like not many women take off at 12 feet. That's
12 feet
and I
out.
and I take off inside of 12 feet. So I take off really really close, which isn't always good, but I make it work. But yeah,
Yeah.
probably it's where I have the most points to gain for where I'm at, and
Mhm.
so our coach is. I mean, he's a silver medalist in the Olympics, a 6 meter jumper, and he always
Mhm.
laughs because he's like, "That's the event I've coached you worst at." I was like, "Yeah." Just with like, because we always thought we're like with where I'm at to where I could be in the event is the biggest window for everything else.
Totally. And you're already like you're pretty much a beat. You're such a beast at it. I mean, you can jump over, but like over 17 feet over it.
Yeah, my PB is like 17.3. My
Yeah.
average is probably at like 16.6 to 16.9, 10 range.
Interesting. And what do like other people do? Because I feel like that like someone who's good shot putter or like good with well, I guess even if you're good at sprints, I think you'd be able to go pretty high. But you want to be light still, right? To be able to get up over that. Is that
Not necessarily, especially with deck pole vaulting.
yeah.
There's some big dudes just getting on some big poles and just kind of flinging himself over it. It's not pretty,
Yeah.
but it is effective sometimes. Because
Dang.
the stupid thing is in high school is you have weight limits. So all
Mm.
poles have like a weight number on it,
I
and
didn't
in
know
high
that.
school you have to be above that weight.
Yeah.
But it makes it extremely dangerous for a person that is just beginning. So say you have a person that just wants to start pole vaulting
Yeah.
in high school. If they want to vault at the meet, say they weigh 190 pounds, they have to be on the 190-pound pole or higher.
Hmm.
Kind of pole I'm on. So you're having a beginner have to be on that pole, so it won't bend, won't
Yeah.
do anything.
Which
It's
is not
just
good.
super super stiff.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense, but then again, a lot of stuff in high school doesn't make sense.
Well, I feel like it's more like a liability thing, right? Like if the pole breaks, or I don't know. At least that's what I would think. Like if the pole breaks, they don't want to be liable for the dude breaking his arm or whatever.
Yeah, I don't
No
know
idea.
the whole ins and outs. Get into college, I can use 110-pound pole if I wanted to.
Seriously, dude, I feel like you'd snap that like a twig, or would you not?
They're a lot harder to break than you actually think. Like I think I've broken one pole in 10 years or something like that.
Seriously,
And the
I
only
just,
reason I broke that pole was the bottom bit was really worn off. So
yeah,
like when it hits the bottom of the box, the pole will actually scrape. So it
hmm
takes away some of the material, and after like 6, 7 years, you can kind of feel it start to go, and that's kind of what happened with my one. That's the only reason it broke.
did snap in half. Are you one of those guys on Instagram who had the pole snaps in half and they do like a backflip?
No, fortunately not. I'm too mentally weak for that one to happen. No, it just kind of like the bottom 6 inches just snapped. It wasn't
Oh,
that big.
oh, okay, so that's not so
Like
bad.
I've seen some bad ones, where it pops in their hand and their hand's all cut up from it. Those are
Yeah,
bad ones.
yeah, that is. Well, luckily that's never happened. So. Dude, I always think about
Love
your
working
career. I always think about your career as like so like well actually I was just thinking about this last night, but I think of your career if it was translated to coronavirus, it would be like you'd be like late February. Like you're like I and what I
out.
mean by
One
that
second,
is
you're
like
breaking up.
you're, oh,
One
can you hear
sec.
me?
Yep, I got you.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it just cut
Um
off.
I was saying, for if I were to compare you or your career to the coronavirus, you're like late February in the U.S. Like you're still like you're like super important, but like your potential to be is going to be like to like take over the world is like very big. Like you know what I mean? Like you're on the exponential curve, and you're like you're at such a high level already, but how high you can go is like so much higher. So I thought that was kind of funny, but.
You know, I guess being compared to a pandemic isn't that bad, I guess. No,
In a
it's
good way. Good pandemic, not a bad pandemic.
no, no, no. I'll take it in the good way. It's always what people don't see in the background of professional sports. Like in college, you get this huge support system. Like in Kentucky, we got massages almost every week, chiropractor almost every week,
Let's just be clear.
medical.
Let's just be clear. You got massages every week. I sucked. The top best
If
people
you're at the top, you know what I mean? When you work your way up, you get all
all
this stuff, and then it's like when you leave, you're just like plop, there you go, have fun with your day. And
seriously.
so it's like getting used to, yeah, getting your body used to not having a massage every week. You can do it like maybe once a month because that's what you can afford, kind of stuff.
Mhm.
So you're just like, so the probability of injury is so much higher now, which is
Interesting.
my thing is trying to get the body healthy enough to do it. Like if you're one of the very top athletes, you can do that because you have the funds for it. But I don't have $60 every week to spend on a massage. I mean,
Mhm.
we need kind of an hour massage if you're really going to do most stuff, unless you have a good person like we had at Kentucky where they could do it in 20, 30
Yeah.
minutes.
Yeah.
Uh, But then you also have like in Seattle, it's a more expensive city. So like in Kentucky, between me and my girlfriend, we were paying $1,200 worth of rent for 1,200 square feet. Now we're paying 1,600 plus for 600 square feet.
Mhm.
So and then massages are more expensive compared to there. Just the rate of living is more expensive. So then you have less money to spend on that stuff. So then it's like
Interesting.
you have to prioritize what you need to live, and then what
Mhm.
can you do to help your
On top.
body, kind of thing.
Interesting.
Which is the
So they
big thing with sports.
mhm. Well, it's the most important thing, right? Like if you get injured, like that there goes your source of income, right? Like you're depending on this on your body to live, right? That's actually super
Yeah.
interesting. Maybe you could more on that, like that what that transition was like. Like what like emotionally, what did that affect at all? Like your training because your body's so used to getting it. Like I would imagine there's like a bunch of ripple effects that happen after that. Like you're so used to having this like great treatment all the time, and you don't really have to think about it. And now you have to think about it. Now you're getting it less, more often. So maybe like did that play at all into like how you felt or even like how you performed?
Yeah, it does a little bit because it's like I'm used to if one thing gets a little niggle, like say I have a, my left hamstring's a little off, then
Yeah.
you go to the athletic trainers, you get your rehab plan done there, and then from there you get a massage that week on that area, and then a chiropractor. So your whole body's going to be in tip top shape to kind of get that sorted out. As
Hmm.
for now, it's like that hurts. That hurts. Like the rehab kind of stuff, I know. Um, and what I can do to it, ice bath, heat it, stuff like that. But then it's not in the same kind of place as it was when I was in college. So then the other one is taking the load for it, and then that one starts to go. So it's a whole like body effect, and that's kind of what I've been going through this year. Is everything's been going off. So we made the decision that I have to go to a PT at least once a week now to be just to like get some hands on and get some mobility and stuff for it.
Yeah. Interesting.
Then
Hmm.
it's also the support system. You come out and you don't have just like you don't have the team around you. Like while we're an individual sport, having a team around you with like people encouraging you all the time in this, it's you don't think it plays a big role, but once you leave and you're not around that, it actually does play a big role. More than you
Interesting.
actually thought it would.
Yeah. So so you're not with a team now then? Are you training by yourself? Like, and
No,
I would
so
think that.
I'm
Sorry, go ahead. I didn't interrupt. It's a little lagged, so that's why
I'm with
I didn't.
yeah, no, I'm with so my coach Toby, he's at the University of Washington. So I train with him and then I'm also a volunteer coach there, so I help out the athletes there as well.
Oh, nice.
So it's like I'm around that, but it's not like I'm part of the team.
Mhm,
If you know what I'm saying there, like I'm not a part of the competing team there.
mhm,
So like the couple of people I work with, like we're all supportive of each other. But then like when I'm away to meet, like say I'm in Austria competing at Gotsis, it's I'm on my own there.
yeah,
As for in college, you'd go to a you'd have like two or three people there. You'd have a trainer designated like just for you. And like when I went to Georgia, I'd have like a trainer would come just for me. Then it'd be my coach and me. So it's like you have this small mini team around you.
mhm,
So you feel important. You're like, okay, got to go do business kind of thing.
mhm, 100%.
It's a weird transition, which is why you see a lot of athletes have that dip their first year or two out of college. And then when you're in college, you're like, what? I don't understand why that's happening. And then you leave it
And
and
you realize.
you understand. It's one of those things where you almost have to experience it to fully understand it.
Yeah. Well, because it must be it's hard to even, like, imagine in your head, like, oh, it's such, like, an ethereal thing, like, just having the team around you, like, why would that matter? Like, I'd be even be better on my own, right? Because then I can do my own schedule and whatnot. But it is super important to have that system, I feel.
Yeah. And then like, yeah, because you have that. And then you also have all the perks of gear and everything like that. That's where if you have a sponsor right out of college, it's a little bit different because then you're like, okay, this company's backing me. I have to perform for that
Mhm,
reason. When you come out and you're trying to get a sponsor and nobody's picking you up, then you're like, well, what am I doing wrong? When you look at somebody else that
mhm,
doesn't score as high as you or isn't as fast as you or this and that, you're like, how are they picked up over me? And then
mhm.
that plays a role in there because then you're like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah,
So all that kind of piles on itself. And if things aren't going great, then it really then goes again. It's a whole slippery slope.
yeah. Did you get a sponsor right out of university? Or
No, no. So I'm
oh,
still unsponsored.
seriously? Wow, I would not have guessed that.
Yeah,
Wow.
because I mean, it's a whole different world out there. So like people see you're like 10 or 20 minutes on the TV and you're like, man, their life must be terrific. You're at like a world championships, you're doing great. But then that other 362 days of the year, there are a whole bunch of stuff's going on, like between sponsors, their training, and then like how they are mentally and just all that kind of works together and you don't realize how actually fragile professional athletes are because all you see is this persona that everything's terrific
Yeah,
because we're not going to show that stuff's going on there because you can't. You have to focus on what you're doing.
yeah. Huh. That's interesting because I definitely feel that's the case. Like a lot of people think that the professional lifestyle is so great. You get to travel all these places, but not only when you travel these places, you're under a lot of stress. Like you have to perform while you're there, and then like you have to stress about. There's a lot of stuff that goes on like between the ears that the people they don't see, right? That's not only not happening there, but like happens elsewhere. So I think that's great for someone like at your level to say that because most people don't realize it, right? And they don't appreciate it, right? Like yeah. So
And that's just in our little sport. Like if you're somewhere like the NFL or the NBA and stuff like that, like I couldn't even imagine that one where, yeah, you see them for that amount of time, they're making millions and millions and bucket loads of millions.
yeah,
But then outside of that is you have the stress of you have to perform to get that money. You have to perform to stay at that level and everything like that. And then yeah, if you get injured, especially if you're not one of the top people, say you're just fighting for one of the starting positions and you get hurt, then you get dropped out of there. So then it's like that's a huge stress for something like that where you know what I mean? Like it's a whole different thing at professional sports that
Yeah.
until you're in that world and you've been around it all, you don't fully understand all that.
Hmm. Well, even like, so I think that even that, so going to your NFL example, like when people leave, like I feel like that's such an understood psychological phenomenon. Like I experienced this a little bit when I was at Kentucky, but like for a couple years, like that's all I did was running, and it was like a huge part of my identity, right? And like it gets built up over time because people that's how people recognize you. And then all of a sudden, when you leave and that's gone, you have to reinvent yourself, and it's a very hard thing to do. And I think that's maybe what a lot of NFL players struggle with, or maybe a lot of people who run in sports in general
A lot of people
is
in general, like with what happened with the NCAA this year, like you have a whole bunch of seniors that
Mhm,
like that's what they're doing. That's what they've done forever. Like I got to know the people at Washington really well.
mhm,
One of them was a fifth year, and he's a good pole vaulter, and he just made indoor nationals, I think, for the first time. That got pulled out, and then that was going to be his last outdoor season. That got pulled out, so then he's like, well, kind of you get no closure going into it. So at least like if you have the full season and you're a senior, then you get the closure of okay, this is my last outdoor season. You kind of know where your last meet's going to be, and then you everything just gets pulled out, so you have no closure. And now a lot of people are just in this kind of limbo state, like what are we supposed to do?
mhm,
Especially with not being in, you can't get jobs, so that now it's like it's double on top of it.
mhm,
I feel like there's a lot of people out there right now that are just kind of the same thing you were, like in an identity crisis, like what am I supposed to do with myself?
100%. And I feel like it just takes time to kind of reinvent yourself, right? Like, yeah. But that's super interesting from your perspective, having it seen like so close and firsthand. Like, I don't know, did you get to see him after all the stuff started to come down? Like, or have you chatted with anybody after it's all come down? Like, what they're going through mentally? Like,
Not a huge amount. Like I'm in touch with a lot with we have another English multi guy that came over, so he's training with us, and so I talked quite a bit with him. He's kind of in that state. He's like he was going to try to qualify for World Juniors and all that, and that's been canceled. And he's like just finding it hard to train now without having anything to do, and now it's like all you can do is just stay in decent shape until next year for preseason. That's what every athlete's doing now.
mm-hmm,
Just do what you can to maintain your fitness and do what you can not to go crazy. Like we just found a track um, near us. Like I'm up at my parents' house because they moved up to northern Washington. So we found a place that there's a track. So Olivia and I are now going to go there today just to get a different thing than just going out for runs, or we got a stationary bike other than doing bike workouts.
yeah. Dude, download the Imbue app. We got some good workouts on there. No, I'm just kidding. It's just at home workouts.
Yeah,
Um,
that's something that you now have to start getting creative with.
bro, you gotta bench press the salt bags, or the softer salt bags. Do
I have
some
a couple.
squat.
We bench pressed our dog a couple times just for fun.
What do you have, a Great Dane or something? I feel like you could.
You know, I have a corgi.
Oh, dude, that doesn't even count. You could bench press over your finger.
It's a 40-pound corgi. He's a big corgi.
Oh, he's a 40 pound dude. What?
Yeah, but
40 pound,
he's long. He's in good shape.
40 pound corgi, bro. I'm thinking of one with a corgi with the little legs. He's a
Yeah,
40 pound corgi.
with the little legs. He's just a big. You see him next to other corgis, and he's just ginormous. He's an anomaly.
His belly must just like rub on the ground when he runs. That's hilarious. 40 pound corgi. They're cute
Like
though.
when he
Corgi.
sits down, like only the half of the ground and the second half is on the. It's funny, but yeah, we'll bench press him sometimes just for. We actually did so like we rated the whole indoor area that we have for like the stationary bike and weights and stuff. So we have that, luckily. But
Oh, dude, that is so they let you take some of that equipment.
yeah,
Dude, that's
yeah.
super
So that
nice.
way we can at least do some weight. We
Yeah.
just got put on lockdown again for another month.
Seriously? Wait till when?
So we're in
End of
lockdown until May 4th, I think.
Oh my gosh, dude, that is insane. I think ours is till April. Ours is in Minnesota. It's till the end of April, but we can still go outside and do stuff. It's just like it's not like you can't leave the house. It's
Yeah.
just you can go and stuff. But I don't know if it's the same there. But
And that's the nice thing is luckily we're not like some European things. Like I know in France they were finding people that went out more than once. I mean, my parents, they live on a golf course and they haven't, they've kind of closed it, but if you're part of it, you can go out and play. So like my dad managed to get like a free membership trial period. So
yeah,
we're able to go play golf or we're able to go to the track and stuff like that. So in that way, we're kind of lucky here, like unlike places like France or like Italy where they really can't leave.
I know, dude. It's insane. I cannot imagine. Imagine if the U.S. did that. Like that'd be
Oh,
insane.
there'd be riots.
It'd be riots.
There'd definitely be riots.
I, I actually would agree.
Most likely.
Yeah, yeah, dude. Yeah.
I
Imagine if there was
riot
riots.
over a lot of stuff.
What?
They riot over a lot of stuff anyways. Doesn't really
Yeah.
matter what it is. I feel like shutting down the whole country would cause one.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. But lucky you weren't sick. Were you ever in Europe at all this year? Like earlier? Like oh no, you were indoors. Was that when the stuff was just kind of happening over in England when
Also,
you were?
I haven't been over to Europe since last summer.
Oh, that was last summer. Okay, for some reason I was thinking indoors. Were you? Did you not? Did they cancel indoors this year?
Yeah, they postponed indoors to next year. So like that was it was supposed to be in China and they postponed that well early. That was one of the first sporting events I think to probably get like major sporting events probably to get postponed. Because they
Oh, damn.
that I want to say beginning of February.
Is when they postponed it?
Yeah, maybe end of January. I actually think
Yeah.
because I was thinking, wow, that is good for me because I was injured at that point.
Seriously? What did you have?
Yeah, I've been having a lot of like hamstring and hip issue stuff.
Oh, is that what you were talking about with the PT stuff earlier?
Yeah, so it's like you have like it's different and you're not able to get back as fast because you don't have that kind of stuff. So that's kind of what I was dealing with.
Yeah.
Um, so like for me, I was like when they canceled, I was like, awesome.
Thank-
I can do it next year.
recovery
I'll be healthy
recovery
for
time.
that. Yeah, there's always silver linings to everything.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
Like that's how I'm looking at this whole year is okay, it wasn't the healthiest going into it. So next year would just be healthy for that. And that's kind of how I look at it. You get more time to train and get ready for it.
Are you resting like a lot more now? You sitting down watching some Netflix, watching some Tiger King, just recovering, or are you still working out quite a bit?
So here's the funny thing. This is what like Liv and I always talk about is people look at professional athletes and they're like, man, you guys got to be doing a whole bunch of stuff. Like you got to be really active and this. No, we're the laziest people in the world. And if I'm not at the track, I'm most likely watching TV.
What are you
Like
watching? I
I'm
know
not
you're a Tiger King guy.
a what?
I know you're a Tiger King guy.
Yeah, I didn't
Have you
actually
seen
watch it, and then my dad had it on the TV, so now we watched that. Actually, what's really good is The Sinner on Netflix.
The Sinner? I haven't seen that. What is it about?
Yeah, it's like around. It's I guess it's a little bit like True Detective, where each season is a separate thing, but it's revolved around like one main person solving something that went wrong. He's like a detective. It's actually really good.
Interesting. So it's like CSI.
Oh, nah, it's more of a detective show. A guy working one case through the whole thing.
Oh,
So like
crazy.
this, the season we watched, it was like this 13-year-old murdered these two people around like that are around this kind of cult, and they were kind of abducting him slash not abducting him slash who the hell knows. So it's kind of about like him working through this case of this kid, and then like why would he do it, what went wrong, this kind of stuff.
Dang.
Yeah, so that's a good one. But yeah, professional athletes very lazy.
Yeah, dude, I believe it. I was when I first started running, I was such a pile. Like, I would like miss practices and like I don't know, like not at Kentucky, but like when I was in high school, I was such a POS when I was first beginning. But yeah, dude. Well, I'd be interested to hear more about like so going back into like the decathlon stuff. I'd be curious to hear like your psychology going into one of those like a day. Like, what was it like? What is it like? How do you feel like going into a decathlon? How do you prepare for it mentally? Like, I suppose most of it is done during your training. Like, but there still is a bunch of nerves and shit like that because it's a long event. There's so much that you could do that I guess could go wrong. Like, how do you get that certainty in you before you compete?
Yeah, like it's kind of one of those things where you know something's going to go wrong at some point during those 2 days. Something isn't going to go as planned, so you
Yeah.
kind of know that, and you just try to minimize that something not going to plan. Like you may have a bad event, or you may have three bad events, or whatever. So it's just kind of knowing that something's going to go wrong, and whatever you do is just take each thing event by event, throw by throw, jump by jump. That's kind of what helped me get better faster, because I used to get a lot into my head. If I had one bad event, it would kind of just implode the whole event. Like if I had a bad long jump, the whole next 7 events would just be bad, because
Hmm.
we focus too much on, well, I messed that up, the whole thing can't go well. When the best decks aren't ones that you PB and everything. Well, those ones would be, yes, but it's like how close to your PB can you get in every event? Like my one of my best heptathlons, I was just close to my PB and everything. I didn't do anything outstanding, but I didn't do anything really wrong.
Yeah.
So those ones be the ones that you score the highest because you're close to your PB. So say my PB in the hundreds 10.4, and I run 10.55. Gonna take it. I jump 7.90. You're gonna take it. You just
Hmm.
don't want one where you go, instead of jumping that 7.90, you jump 7.30.
Yeah.
You just want to be as close to where your max is as possible.
Hmm.
That's kind of what you set up your training for.
Hmm.
It's it's how close to, say I'm throwing disc, how close to 44 can I hit? Like can I hit over 42 meters 8 times out of 10? That's kind of the philosophy we bring into practice is I have to be able to in shot put throw over 13 meters 9 times out of 10.
Hmm.
Kind of drill it in so that way it's automatic. And then when you get the adrenaline, hopefully that increases more.
Hmm.
That's kind of how we've gone about it the last couple of years. Because I mean, it took 2 years for like my coach and I to kind of figure out each other, figure out how we work mentally, both in practice and in competition. And once we
Hmm.
figured that out, that's when stuff started to just kind of go on the up.
You started to be like coronavirus in March.
Exactly. That's when that started.
Yeah. No, that's
That's
crazy. So it seems like
that's when you stop being referred to as the coronavirus and go to COVID-19.
COVID-19. Exactly. There you go. That's funny. Well, it seems like you have to. There's so much resiliency involved. Like even if you fuck up an event, like you still have to be mentally because you still got 6 other events or 7 other events to get through. Or even if it's later, like you still have another thing to do, right? So you have to be so resilient mentally. Like, that's probably the case, right? Like,
Yeah, and it's like you take everything as a learning opportunity. So my junior year, I no marked in long jump in NCAA's. We kept going through the whole thing. One, because I mean that's just I feel like some of it was punishment, you
What is
know?
it? What is it? Mark? What is a no mark? Like where
Uh,
you fell 3 times?
I found all three jumps,
Yeah.
so you
Okay.
get 0 points. So then it's like we kept going through the whole thing because we used it as a learning opportunity. Okay, so what can we do? And so we got to hurdles on the second day. My coach was just like, "Yeah, fuck it, just run as hard as you can through it and see what happens. If you fall, you fall. I already have 0 points in an event, so it's not really going to matter." So it's
Yeah.
doing stuff like that where you can kind of learn from things. How hard can I press without stuff going wrong? Like, how hard can I extend through this throw and stuff like that? Because at the end of the day, like that meet, it's done. You scored 0 points. You can't place where you want to, so you might as well learn something from it.
Mhm.
And that's kind of how I've been going about it. Is every time I compete, learn from it. Like I take notes before the meet on what I need to do in the meet, and then you can kind of reflect back on what you did during it.
And kinda gauge, like, what your how you squared up to what you thought you were gonna do, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Huh. That's super cool. I imagine, like, that stuff is gonna be super helpful, like, even, like, post your track career. Like, I'm sure you're not thinking about that at this point, but, like, eventually like, that's what I think is so great about sports is, like, it teaches you so much about what to do after or, like, it always teaches you like, it teaches you what the next thing and, like, I've always found that learning is what's left after what you've learned is removed. So basically, like the framework for for learning and doing stuff is so much more important than what you're actually doing in the long run, in the grand scheme of
Yeah.
things. That was for me. That
Yeah.
was
We
like,
can.
go ahead. Sorry.
For, yeah, for sure. Like we can do what we're doing on the track or what you're doing in your sport. But yeah, you're always going to be learning stuff towards your next thing in life, like whether it's being resilient or even just how to treat people. Because I mean, you realized in at Kentucky, like there's so many different personalities you have to be able to get along with and
So
kind of
many,
know, okay, I can get along with you, but I'm gonna stay with kind of stuff.
100%, 100%. Yeah. Hmm. Speaking of people, have you chatted with Shane recently? So Shane was a big reason why I went to Kentucky in the first place. But I'm curious if have you chatted with him recently or no?
I haven't chatted with him. Like I always like look at what he's doing on Instagram and stuff, but no, I haven't chatted with him recently.
Same, bro, dude. I love this guy to death, and I really hope that like I think he's going. He's just going through a tough time right now. But like I really like what he's doing with his beats and stuff. And like I don't know if you know this, but he came out that he was gay. I had no idea. I had no idea that um, that's what he was. But yeah, I was just curious if you had the chance to chat with him at all.
No, I haven't. I mean, yeah, he was another guy. Like I always try to look out for him. Like in the beginning, like I'd go out and try to party with him, and it was kind of one of those ones where you try to do it to get it out of his system. So that
Yeah,
way, when you got to competing, you would then not do that because he had a lot of talent.
he did, man. He was so talented, for real. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's unfortunate,
and not
but
like just kind of a person.
what?
He's just like a genuinely nice person. Like
I agree. Yeah, he's such a nice
a
guy.
lot of energy.
So much, dude. I know, and like the shit he says, like there's like only one person who would say the shit like that he says. Like I don't
Yeah,
know. Yeah,
yeah.
he's a character. We love him. We love Shane. Shane, hope you're listening. Love you, bro. But yeah, man. So we're talking about psychology. Oh my god, dude, it's already almost an hour into this. That's crazy. So psychology. What was like the craziest event that you ever did? Like craziest race or well, it's not race, like competition that you ever did. Was it like because so I don't know if I even said this in the beginning. You're the indoor record holder for Great Britain. You're also an NCAA champion. I think indoors and outdoors, right?
Yeah.
Indoors and outdoors. So two-time NCAA champion. So you're the real deal. You've been to like the highest level of events. Like what was the craziest one that you did? And can you
Yeah, I guess
take
there's
us through that?
yeah, actually a couple ones. So like I have one that's kind of like been a defining moment and kind of like what helped me kind of be me towards like the end of my college career. And then
Hmm.
I just have like the fun. Like one of the ones that defined it was junior year
At Kentucky?
NCAA. Yeah, I was leading going into the K by a lot. Like I shouldn't have lost the event, and then like
So
this stuff happened where like my groins and everything cramped up, and I lost the event by like 12 points. And that was one where like I was just gutted at the end of it. Um, I don't know if you were around that time. Yeah, I
I
think you
don't think,
were.
was I your junior year? 2017, 2016, 2017 winter?
2017.
Oh, actually, I'm pretty sure I watched that in the live stream.
Yeah, so but like after that for a good like week, I was gutted and it wasn't good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then it was one of those things where it was like I'm gonna do my best no matter what, not to ever feel like that again.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So that was one of those ones where it was like between me and my coach, we talked about how we're not gonna let that happen again.
Hmm.
Where if I'm gonna lose, like if I'm gonna lose like that, I'm gonna have PR on that last event, and if they beat me and I PR'd, I can live with that.
Hmm.
Um, that's kind of like then fast forward to 2019 in European indoors in Glasgow. I was second going into the K,
Where's Glasgow? Is that England?
Scotland.
Scotland. Okay.
Uh, so England's here, Scotland's like above it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Uh, but yeah, going into the K, I was second place. Couldn't win it. The guy that was ahead of me runs too fast in the K. But then third place was, I think, maybe 30 points behind. Fourth place was maybe 50 points behind,
Hmm.
which is only like 4 to 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And at that point, I had a PB of like 257. They all had PBs of 240 lows.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where it came in. It's like, well, I don't want to. If I'm going to lose this, I'm going to at least die on the track trying.
Yeah.
So PB'd by 7 seconds in that and held on to second place. So that's kind of where that 2017 helped in that moment because it was like I'm at least going to kill myself to try to do this. I'm not going to just kind of like lay on my back and kind of let it happen. So that's kind of where all that experience like we were talking about earlier
Hmm.
helped in that one. So those two kind of went hand in hand. But the craziest competition I think was Europeans in Berlin
Yeah.
because it was in that old Olympic stadium, and that thing is ginormous. Like
Yeah.
it holds like 60,000 people or something like that. It's something ridiculous. Um,
Mhm.
but they filled it. It was filled.
Damn.
So like we did the 400 to a filled stadium, and we were the very last event for the 1500. It was still filled.
The last in the evening?
Yeah, in the
Dude,
evening we were the last event, and it was still filled.
wow. That is crazy.
Like, that was
How'd
a
you feel
crazy event.
how'd you feel going into it? Were you just like, "Oh my god, let's go." Like, were you, like, nervous at all, or was it just kinda like a normal,
Oh
like
yeah, it was after day one. I was in the lead, and we were going to day two.
hmm,
Like I'm just sitting there, and then the bus driver comes on the announcement. He's like, "Hey guys, we're heading on
bus
our
driver?
way." Hmm?
Why was there a bus driver? Or from the hotel?
Yeah, from the hotel. We're
Yeah.
on our way to the thing. He was like, "Hope you guys have a good like good luck in the day," basically. And he was like, "Good job on day one" to the British guy. I hope Germany wins because he was in second place. And I'm sitting, oh, terrific. And I kid you not, this is my coach's pep talk to me as we're driving. He's like, "You have a whole country that's rooting against you. Good luck today." And I'm like, "Terrific."
Yeah.
I'm like, "That's awesome." Like just stuff like that. And he's like, "Oh, terrific.
Was it, like,
Love
was it
that."
sarcastic? or was it?
It was like a jokingly kind of one, just like try to like lighten the mood up because I'm also like about to go to sleep because it's so early. Had 4 hours of sleep, had a power nap.
Oh my god, dude, that's insane. That's an insane couple days. Shit,
Yeah, but no, like those are the fun competitions. Like everything just builds up into those big competitions where it's like you can put
pressure.
pressure on yourself, but you might as well just go out and have fun with it.
Yeah,
It's like how often you get to do a decathlon in front of a sold out stadium of 50, 60,000 people. For
dude, that's crazy.
sprinters, maybe a lot, not for
Yeah,
we're
for like,
used to the only
what was that?
we're used to like the only supporters being like the parents of the people there.
Yeah, dude, seriously, same for distance. Like nobody gave a shit about us. We're
No.
probably worse than you guys. I like from a crowd perspective. So that must have been pretty cool.
Yeah, it
But
was. We started the 400, and it's just like a wall of noise. It was just crazy how loud it was.
dang, I wonder if that would happen in the U.S. if people would if we could fill up. Well, I guess football stadiums are probably too small. Like I don't think you could fit a track in there.
The only place you'd be able to do it is Oregon
At Oregon, yeah. Hmm.
for a domestic. Now they're hosting Worlds actually in Oregon in 2022 now.
They're holding what in Oregon? The Worlds? Is that what
Yeah,
you
World
said?
Champion. That's why they're redoing
Oh,
the stadium.
oh, interesting, interesting. Huh.
Yeah.
I didn't even know they were doing the stadium. That's how far out I've been from the whole track and field scene.
Oh yeah, dude. Like it's a legit stadium.
Like a football stadium?
Yeah.
Dude, I want to look this up. What?
Yeah. As the new Hayward Field.
Oregon Track Stadium.
Yeah, the thing is massive.
Oh my lord, dude, that looks sick.
Yeah, because they're hosting. Now,
What?
have you been to Eugene?
I have never, dude. I have never been. The
Have
one
you?
the year I went to nationals
I don't know
for
how
in
they're gonna host a world championship there
why?
because it is tiny. The town is tiny. There's gonna be teams like an hour away. That's how small it is.
Dude, you
Like for a comment.
Airbnb.
Yeah, dude, that's gonna what it's gonna be like. Gonna have to Airbnb. Like one of my training partners, he was like, he went to Rio in 2016. He was like, yeah, I got an Airbnb closer than the village, just so that way he could
Seriously?
get up and then walk straight to the stadium.
Damn.
Yeah,
Dude, that is gonna be so nice. Oh my gosh. Wow.
yeah. They're almost done with it. They were supposed to hold the Pac-12 championship there, and then the Olympic trials.
This year?
Yeah,
Dude, how did I not know this? Wow, I really need to step up my track game. Like, I've been out for too long. How's Liv doing? Is she there right now?
yeah. She's downstairs.
Oh, okay. Let's say hi.
I'm in the
Like,
bonus room in my parents' house. I swear it's the size of my apartment.
seriously?
Yeah,
How far is it from your apartment? Maybe kid. Well, yeah, I guess if it's pretty far away, that wouldn't work out so well. But
it's
just
about an
to
hour.
uh, just to get a couple extra therapy visits and
Yeah, yeah. Like it's like 10 minutes from the Canadian border by Vancouver.
seriously, it's that close, dude. I don't know if I've ever been to Seattle. I don't think I've ever been to Seattle. So,
Seattle's about almost 2 hours from the border.
oh, but they're that much farther north.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, okay,
yeah. No,
cool.
Seattle's a great place.
You love it there? Would you ever go
Yeah,
back? Would you ever go back to Kentucky?
I've been back since. Like a lot of people don't like Kentucky once they leave. And I can see it. Like I wouldn't want to live there again necessarily.
Yeah,
But there's really nothing to do. You don't realize how little there is to do there. But then I have some really good friends that still live there and stuff like that. So and then
yeah,
you have like good memories of like competing and stuff there, but yeah, it's different because I've never really lived in a big city.
Yeah.
I've lived in them, but I've never like been in it where I can go and take like basically the subway downtown in like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So that and it's really nice. You don't realize how much more there is to do.
I know. Yeah, dude. Yeah, and the West Coast is so beautiful too, right? Like you have the Pacific Ocean right there, dude. That's your ice bath, man. You can go ice bath in the ocean. Get work out on the beach. Go for nice ice bath.
No,
No,
I want to go
no,
in there. No, it
you
looks
don't.
very cold.
Yeah, it'd be pretty
No,
cold.
it looks
Too
I
cold for Tim.
go over there to dog sometimes, and it just looks too cold. Don't want to do
Yeah.
that. But
Yeah.
hopefully, I want to do like a couple of day trips or something out to the Olympic Peninsula.
The Olympic Peninsula. I don't even know where that is. Is that? Oh, that where they have the national parks and stuff there, like the really cool, like the cool waterfall and stuff.
Yeah,
Are those still
uh,
open right now? Olympia Peninsula. Oh
yeah.
yeah, dude.
They haven't really like
Dude, that is gorgeous.
yeah. So it'd be fun to do that, especially now. There's no meets. We completely
Yeah.
shut down. So
Wow. Cool, man. Well, I suppose we should probably wrap it up. That's been about an hour, but if you want to still chat for a little bit after, I'd be down there. Oh yeah, dude, over an hour. Yeah, I'll let you be. But we're gonna wrap up this podcast here. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and thanks, Tim. Appreciate you taking the time to chat.
no problem. It's fun.